Wellington School, represented by Andy Gray, Head of Admissions. Let's welcome Wellington School.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. I'm just going to start today to say I'd just like to welcome everybody that's watching. We are really pleased to be here, and this is my first time joining Brains and Butter. And so it's going to be a learning experience for me as well. But I'm very delighted to have with me one of our current pupils, Ijoma. This is Ijoma.
Hi, everyone.
She is here to help me not only make hopefully a really useful presentation to you all this morning, but also to help me answering any questions at the end. I joined the school just 3 weeks ago, so it's all a learning experience for me as well. So I'm going to do my best this morning, but as I say, Ijoma is the one really with all of the information straight to hand. I'd like just to start to tell you a little bit about our school. We are Wellington School in Somerset, and Somerset is in the southwest of England. I would say about 2 hours from London by train, and maybe more like 3 or 4 by car. And so we are in a beautiful part of the country. And in fact, one of the things particularly that is nice to know is that many people who live in the UK actually choose to come here on holiday. So we live in an area that other people would spend money to get here. So I think that, you know, if you're thinking about something like that, then you know, we are really, really very lucky, surrounded by beautiful countryside. We're about an hour from the sea. We've got cows everywhere, and today the sun is shining. But I feel like I ought to let you know as well that we do have over normal percentage of rain. So, but today for you the sun is shining, so I'm really pleased. Our school was founded in 1837, so we're a really historical school. We currently have around about 880 pupils at the school, and just under 200 of those board with us, Ijoma being one of them. Our pupils start in our school very young. They come from the age of 3, and then we have pupils all the way through to the age 18. Normally for boarding, that starts at age 11, so that's into year 7. And like many schools, we have scholarships available. We have different points of entry. Children can join us for short-term experiences, but also we find plenty of children love to come to us and then they stay. And I think that's you know, really an important thing to think of as a parent as well, is just at what age your child is thinking of coming and how long they may want to spend with us. Whenever you get to that point of perhaps talking with us, you know, we can really give you lots of advice. It's an interesting time for a parent to start considering when they're sending their child to the other side of the world. So, we've got so much experience in that, and so many children that have come at all different ages. Please do feel free to get in contact, and we can discuss all of that with you. We have 4 boarding houses for girls and boarding houses for boys. And overall, just about 130 international boarders. Is that, yeah, do you know that? Yeah, 130, and from 34 different countries. Currently, I think we've got around about 4 or 5 Nigerians.
Yeah, it's more and more than.
Yeah, more and more.
Just,
yes, we have a lovely little Nigerian community here, spread between boys and girls and spread between different ages. And obviously, we follow the standard curriculum, GCSEs and A-levels. And hopefully, if you have the opportunity to look at our website, lots of excellent exam results. So I can give you lots of information like that, but I believe that actually the best person to tell you about what it could be like to come and study here in Wellington is Ijoma herself. So I'm actually going to spend the rest of the time asking her some questions that hopefully will allow you to get a feel for what it would be like for one of your children to join us. So Ijoma, if you're ready to start, okay. So the first question I'd like to ask you is, what made you choose this school, Wellington, and how did you feel when you first got here?
So funny enough, I think with the whole school choosing process, it was my mom. She loves doing stuff like that. So she just came and told me, well, you're going to this school. But I remember one thing we were looking for was a school that had a friendly and positive community. So one thing I like about Wellington, it's not huge, so it's not overwhelming, but then it's not too small to the sense that I'm like, I don't have anyone here. So to me, it's just the right size, and I think this depends on every child and what they prefer. But I personally really like it. And my mom and I knew that I was tilting towards wanting to do medicine, and we already knew how the admission processes would go in the UK. So we were looking for a school that specifically had teachers that supported students during that wanted to apply to medicine, dentistry, or vet med. So that's normally MDB. MedSoc. And here at Wellington, we have fantastic teachers who help out with that. We have Miss McAllister. She's the head of sixth form. Also my biology teacher. She does so many things, but she's really amazing. And the support that we've received, because my year we have 3 applicants, 2 for medicine and 1 for vet med. And so far, we've all gotten interviews, and the girl who applied for vetmed has actually received 2 offers already. So it really shows how supportive they are in just guiding us and assisting us. And I think that was one of the main things for me. And when I came the first time to Wellington, I guess I was honestly.
How did you feel? What did it really feel like? Come on, you can be honest.
I'll be honest. I was quite surprised, because I guess my school in Nigeria, my previous school, it was and campus kind of school, so you had gates and then you come in. But also, like, Wellington here has gates, but I didn't expect to be crossing the roads to get to some of
right.
But it's not like an express road. It's just I don't know
a little town.
Little town. Exactly. Yeah. And I think the town was also a bit of a shocker for me. But to be honest, I knew, because when I googled Wellington and I saw the pictures, I was like, okay, this is where I'm coming to. But to me, it doesn't really faze me, because 2 years come and go, and then you're off to university. So, and then one positive thing about the town, even though it's small, I was really surprised. A few months ago, Nigerian, well, more of an African restaurant opened up.
It did?
And I went there, and amazing food. So I just like how, even though it's small, like, I see new things every time, and the community is so friendly, absolutely friendly. So I like that. It's not too scary. I'm not overwhelmed. So yeah, but so far I love it.
That's an amazing answer. That's only our first question. I think maybe it would help some parents to know, when you did arrive here, you obviously came into year 12. Yeah. So you would have been 16. So you're a little bit older. But how did the school help you to settle in? So when you first got into the boarding house, were there things particularly that you remember that really helped you to settle?
So I remember even from when I arrived at the airport was actually when I received support from the school, because I traveled on my own for the first time. I was quite excited, if you don't get me wrong, so I wasn't scared. But when I came, the school already had a whole bus. They have their buses organized from Heathrow, and all I had to do was call the number they had given to me. It wasn't hard at all, and all I had to do was follow someone who held a Wellington sign. It was very easy, very simple to follow, and I was in the bus for 3 hours, slept, woke up, and I was in school. And when I got to the boarding house, I remember when I came, it was really busy, because normally at the start of the school year, September, we get a lot of boarders, especially those, we have like temporary students who come to our school from different parts of the world, and a lot of them tend to board. So September we're really full, and then most of them leave after the first term, so it starts to get more, what should I say?
I think it's a bit quieter this term, isn't it?
A bit quieter.
And it gives you a little bit more opportunity. You've been here now for a term, or in your case, a year and a term, and you've met all those nice new people. And by now, I would say this time of year, you're a bit more sort of, you know what you're doing, and you know where you're going, and you feel like part of the school. Yeah, you're not as confused.
So, and I remember for sixth form specifically, we had this, we all went to the sixth form center just to meet with everyone else. So it was kind of an induction day for us. I think that was the day after, or on the day.
I think it's just the day that you arrived.
Yeah. So that was quite nice, and everyone was friendly. We had some, was it brownies? I think. Well, I'm a sweet tooth, so I loved that. But it was quite friendly, and I was able to meet people, and they were open to talking to me, so that was nice.
No, so you felt at home pretty much straight away.
Yeah.
And so that's, I think, one of the things worth knowing is obviously the transport that's put on between airports and here, and that you felt very comfortable about travelling to and from, and you've become better and better at doing that.
Exactly.
So now you're ready to travel the world.
Basically.
That's great. So in terms of academics, obviously you're one of our star pupils. And can you just describe a typical day in terms of the subjects and how you sort of, you get up in the morning, what you do for the rest of the day, a little bit about how the teaching works, and maybe a bit about the support from your tutors or homework, sort of expectations, things like that?
All right, so I guess my year 13 life will be quite different to how year 12s and some of the lower school students will find, because we are writing mocks in a few weeks and then A-level exams in a few months. But normally I wake up quite early just to pray, and then I start my day. I get ready because we have house meetings before breakfast. So I make sure to get all my things ready because nobody's going to do anything for you. So I like that sense of independence. I really like it. So I just get to school. We have our tutors. I love my teacher. She's Miss Hayward, and now she's also the assistant boarding house at Beach. So I see her everywhere. It's lovely. And in school, I have my normal lessons. Every day, depending on what subject you have. A-level, you normally pick 3. So you have those 3 subjects every single day, but you have 2 teachers for each subject. So it alternates between what teacher I get. And during my private studies, I take that time just to go over things that I'm having difficulties with. And now, especially since it's year 13, I've made it a duty to use my private studies to be in other teachers' classrooms. So if I'm doing, if I have a private study, but I need help with maybe integration in math, I go to the math department and I stay there with them. Then basically nearly every day up until from 4 to 5, I'm in the math department just with my teachers, and they're always willing to help. They're so supportive because math is not for the weak.
So that's lovely. That's good to know. And I think the other thing is in the boarding house. And what's it like for you in the boarding house? So can you explain a little bit about the cross section of girls that are in there, and what you might do in the evenings and the weekends?
Okay, so the boarding house is probably one of my favorite thing about Wellington, because it's such a loving community, especially because we have an amazing house parent, Miss Walsh. So the girls actually come from different parts of the world, and I think the boarding house has helped me basically travel without actually traveling, but just in terms of knowing more about the world around me. And normally in the boarding house, during the weekdays, it's normally quite the same because we're all going to school, we come back, but in the evenings, it's just a time to chill. We have prep from about 6:30 to 8 p.m. And the time for the younger girls is different, but for year 11 to year 13, it's that time. Yeah. And in the evenings, then you can cook as long as the kitchen isn't closed. And
do they close the kitchen?
Well, sometimes if we're not taking care of it, so there is some form of discipline that they instill in us, because we have that duty to take care of the kitchen. Yes. So if we don't do that, then we have to understand that there are consequences for that. And we have a saying that there are no slaves in Beach House. So we all have to tidy up.
Everyone has to take responsibility.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but during the weekends, it's quite nice because we normally have boarding house trips. So we can go to different places depending on what trips the school has organized. I remember last year we went to London and then Oxford. I haven't been on as many trips this year because I'm always studying, but I do enjoy the trips a lot. It's just the time to breathe and move out of Wellington for some time. We do also have events in the boarding house. Last year we had this thing called the International Food Fest that only the girls' boarding house do, because I like to think we're the best. But it was just a chance for the girls to cook different meals from their country, and it was really nice. So we kind of plated it and we all shared it with each other. So it was really, really lovely, and it was a nice time together because it's not your everyday thing. It's just a time to bond with the rest of the girls.
No, that sounds lovely. I wish I was intending to spend more time in the boarding houses. And then obviously you've come to us straight from lessons today. Yeah. So it looks like you've got some sport going on.
Yeah, Thursday.
So how about if you could just give us a little bit of a feel of all the things outside of academics that you do, but obviously not necessarily with boarding. So any clubs that you might take part in or sports that you like to play, and how that works here and how you get involved.
So in terms of my extracurricular life, I like to really involve myself because sometimes academics can just be too stressful, and I think it's the extracurriculars that keep me going most times. But in terms of sports, I wouldn't really say I'm a sporty person. I like going to the gym regularly in the boarding house, and also for my period 5 sports on Thursdays. And I used to play tennis a lot, but the weather got a bit too cold for me, so I had to pause. During the summertime, I normally go back to tennis, but now it's a bit too cold for me. And in terms of other extracurriculars, I really like public speaking and debate. So last year, I was very active in the public speaking and debates club. I participated in different competitions, and at the end of last year I gave a talk about my experience so far in the UK coming straight from Nigeria, and I really enjoyed it because I had like different range of people I was speaking to, and I just wanted to educate them simply because I felt some of the experiences I've had were due to ignorance in some cases. But it was really nice just to talk about it, and they understood everything. So I love that experience. And I guess one thing, as I'm community captain, I'm planning an international week in Wellington at the end of March. So that's really exciting. So it's just a time that we can use to celebrate the international community at Wellington, and I'm planning for there to be a day, a non-uniform day, where we can all dress up from and represent any country of our choice. So it doesn't have to be where you come from, just any country, just to basically celebrate that diversity that we have and allow people to know more about the world around them, because I think it's just so important. So these are just little,
lots of things. I don't know how you have any time to study.
I don't know.
You're obviously, you're just one of those people. Oh, well, that's great. Thank you so much. And I think that really, you are probably one of the best ways that I can indicate to you just what it's like for your child to come to Wellington School. You have made the most of every opportunity that there is there, and we've got plenty of them. I think that we have something like 227 co-curricular clubs and activities that you can take part in. And so you clearly have really made the most of it. I'm just coming to my last question for you now, just so that you can give us a little bit of a feel for, now that you've been here and you know where you want to go clearly, and you've done lots of things to help you to get there with the help of the team at Wellington. Just give us an idea of, as a result of being here and the A levels that you're doing, what are your plans for the future? What are you now hoping to do, and how is Wellington School helping you to get there?
So I would like to study medicine at university, and Wellington has helped in terms of the support that I've received, because I started the year 12 doing 4 A levels. So I had biology, chemistry, math, and French, and I really did enjoy French. But year 13, let me say, it got quite tricky to balance everything. And I also, when it got to the point that I had to sacrifice some of my extracurriculars, I think that's when I had to have a real thought. So I would thank my teachers, especially Miss Hayward, because she sat me down and we actually had a talk about it. So if I didn't have that community of teachers that I felt I could talk to, I would probably still be struggling, trying to manage everything and not be quite happy with how my subjects are looking. But just having those teachers that you can actually approach and talk to, and they would give you good advice, it was just really nice.
And what about actually the application process to university?
Oh yeah, that was really helpful.
Help with that as well?
Miss Bailey is the head of careers, and she's amazing at what she does. So she sits down with you, she makes sure you have meetings with her. And I was an early applicant, so I sent my application in, I think like first week of October or so.
Of course you were.
So because for medicine you have to apply early, and but the normal deadline is January 29th. Yes. But Miss Bailey makes sure we all kind of submitted before we break up for Christmas, just to make it easier for everyone. So she's really good at her job, and she always just gives us advice based on what our stats are, what kind of grades we have, and also what we have, where we aspire to go as well. So it's not just you can't go there, but she also keeps our interest in mind, and they're just advising us. They never really force us to do anything. So that's just.
And I think that we do have 80% of our students end up going to their first choice university, and so I think that all the help that you've been given really can make quite a difference going forward. And it's lovely that you now are hoping to stay on and go to university here in the UK as well. Yes. So the weather hasn't put you off altogether.
No, I think that's my only issue, but I'll survive with the weather. It's not too bad.
Oh, that's lovely. So that's basically everything that everything that we wanted to cover, and I hope that that has given you a really good feel for what it's like here at Wellington School. And I'm very happy to take any questions, or rather, Ijoma will be very happy to answer any questions that you may have. So that's the end of our presentation. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. That was awesome. I like particularly the connection between both of you. And she seems really happy, and that's really remarkable. Yes,
Yeah.
I'd love to quickly ask you, Ijoma. You mentioned that you have quite a number of international students there. That's a huge cultural, diverse community you have there. So is there anything special the school is doing to help you leverage on this rich cultural diversity that you have in your space, like teaching you how to leverage on that opportunity?
I think that's something that our school is actively working on, because I think it's more present in the boarding community, actually. So I mentioned how in our boarding house, we normally have different activities to celebrate our different cultures. I think in our boarding house alone, we have over 15 different
nationalities. Yeah.
So, and it's quite educative as well, because when we had the International Food Fair, so we didn't just come and start eating food. We all had to do a brief presentation. So, for example, there was these two other Nigerian girls. One of them made puff puff and the other one made jollof rice. And they gave a brief introduction on basically why we eat it, the very brief history about it. And there were girls from Germany. We have a girl from India as well. There's a girl that's half Canadian, half Japanese. So we just got to taste different parts of the world and learn actively about it. And in terms of the main school, I think that's why I was inspired to do the International Week in March, because when I came, I felt that we could do more with the international community, because we have students from Hong Kong, we have from China, we have from and I guess they're more compared to the other nationalities. So we have a lot of children from Hong Kong and China, mainly, also Germany, Spain,
France
as well. Yes, definitely. So when I came, I just felt like we could do more as a school. I know our prep school did something like that. Was it 2 years ago, the year before I came? But that was what led me to actually want to celebrate the International Week. So hopefully when that happens, you'll be able to see on our school's Instagram or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Have a look at the website. I'm sure we will be celebrating that. Really looking forward to that. And actually, I think that your experience there is indicative of the fact that if you do come up with an idea or something that you feel that we could do better, because you've come in and you've been able to actually action something, and you are now feeling empowered that there might that you have now made a change, which is such a great thing for us to know, because that's exactly where we want our students to be able to do that. So thank you for sharing that with me.
Okay, I actually have more questions, but let me ask the question from the parent first. I'll go to Dr. Alu, and then if we have more time, then I can ask my other question. Okay, so a parent says, how does the school support students who want to pursue sports at an elite level?
Well, we have many sports on offer here, and we have really good facilities. In fact, our gym is a multi-million-pound new development that was built about sort of 15 years ago. So certainly worth having a look on our website at the facilities, and also for strength and conditioning. We have a scholarship program for elite athletes, and we have very many children on that program. It's actually also open to all children, so we don't close all of that to any of the others. Now, depending on what age the child comes, and depending on what sport it is that they particularly excel at, that's something that we would most likely just have a conversation about to see just what sort of support would be needed. Sorry, I didn't quite hear you then. Yeah, to see what sort of support would be needed. So how do you find, do you have any other pupils here that you know are particularly excelling in sport, and how does that change their normal day?
I think in terms of sports, I know in my year group, I'm not sure if we have anyone who's applying for a sports program. I think we have one who's interested in becoming like a sports coach, but not necessarily to go into like D1 athlete or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I don't exactly have an answer towards this question.
Oh, that's okay.
So
that's okay. So I mean, you know, we are known locally as a very sporty school. But in more traditional sports like rugby and hockey, we play a lot of cricket. So, you know, we're very, we've got a dedicated team of sports staff who look after all of our sporty children. We have currently in cricket, I think we've got over 30 players that play at a county level. So we're very used to having children who are really dedicated to sport. So we do have lots of other sports going on as well. They aren't the formal ones that we do as part of our curriculum. Things like rowing and volleyball and tennis. Yeah, and there's lots of tennis courts everywhere, and our facilities are really quite extensive. So I would say that you know, it's definitely a conversation that you can have with us. Again, depending on the age and the sport that you're actually looking at. But we also have lots of children here that play sports at national and international levels.
yeah.
We've got one sixth former at the moment who is in fact just about to take some time off from school to go and play for the national Kenyan cricket team. So yes, do you know about that?
No, I do not.
Oh, okay, well that's new. Yes, so we're working with him at the moment to ensure that he can maintain his studies while he takes a little bit of time to play in the under-19 Kenyan cricket competition. Sorry, I can't tell you which one it is, but if you know anything about cricket, you probably would know more than me. I hope that helps a little bit, that answer.
I'm sure it does. Thank you very much for that.